All right, greetings, one and all, to the Althea family, friends, and whoever just happened to find us by accident. This is Dr. Jonathan Ellerby. I am live at the Althea Center in what used to be my old office, now fondly known as Darwin's Den, mostly because my office tends to look more like a natural history museum than it looks like, folks. That's super cool. So, that was Susan, who helps manage everything behind the scenes here, and I'm glad she stopped in. Anyway, I was just saying that we had a wonderful gathering in person. We are accepting, I believe, 30 seats reserved each week in our 500-seat theater. We have all the windows open. We got fresh air being pulled in from outside. And we just had a little bump in the Wi-Fi, but we're going to try to do this here today. It lets me stand up and move, and hopefully this will be a little more dynamic. So, a couple of announcements for you, and then we're just going to get right into it. First of all, stay tuned because we are expecting some more fantastic Sunday online gathering guests. We had rave reviews about Mark Samuel, and Mark Samuel will be coming back soon. So pay attention, we will be in conversation. It might be the last time we have him for a while, so don't miss that one. Also, Mandaza Kandemwa from Zimbabwe, a traditional Shona healer, or as people would probably say, shaman. He will be joining us live. And this Saturday coming up, that's like almost a week from today, it's Pandemic Palooza. It's an important Althea fundraiser. It starts at 6:30 p.m. next Saturday, and it is a gathering online and all live recordings by some of our favorite musicians, Gonzalo Tepa, Sandra Wong, Michael Stanwood, John Souza. Daryl will be performing, the Soulshine Singers. Chris will be there, Doug Fisichella, even I make, and believe it or not, I sing a song. So I guess you know that's when you're going to go to the bathroom or get some water. But it's going to be great. And it's a very important gathering for our community because, as you know, we are not allowed to do business as usual, but we still have a big, beautiful building to keep up. We still have our staff, and we would love your attendance, your contributions, your donations to make that a really, really special event. Now, while I'm finishing up with my announcements, please be sure I can see your little posts and notes. Say good morning to each other, send love to each other, and especially let me know if my audio and video are good. This is live. There's no fake in it. So send your love, send your greetings, and definitely tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. The other thing I wanted to let you know about is that Tim Wilson, our director of the Mariposa program for education, awareness, and resources for the LGBTQ community, is hosting an extraordinary online event. It's already started, but it's a total of four Tuesdays. And the Tuesdays are all going to be, I'm seeing people telling me that the video is not great. But this is live, so you know what I can do? I'm going to take this camera and I'm going to walk with you to another room, and we're just going to make it better. All right? Hang on. I'm not going to stop talking about Tim, but I am going to move. Hang on, everybody. We can do this. We can do this. We're going to go to where we have a better connection. My goodness. I don't know. This is crazy, but I'm going to try to do it. So what I was telling you is on Tuesdays, Tim Wilson is hosting this incredible event about LGBT immigration. And there are 13 partner organizations. Look at me. This is a selfie stick now. 13 partner organizations. It's all live online. And then he has some actual live event elements going on at Raíces, which is an incredible gathering center in Denver. So check that out. It's all online. We actually have a page dedicated to it on the website. So we hope you'll see that. All right, look at this. We did it. And the amount of time it normally takes us to do announcements, I've relocated because some of you were concerned about the video. Okay, are you ready to go? Because I want to stop talking about announcements and stop moving and get into our topic of the day. I'm going to invite you now to take a deep breath. Whatever you think is going on, just let it go. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and breathe out. Really long, full exhale. Sitting comfortably but alert. And then again, deep breath in through the nose, down into the belly, but really concentrating on the exhale, breathing out. Long, slowly. Allow yourself to come to a place of stillness and calm, connecting with the silence within you. And may you begin to sense that that stillness and that silence is the Spirit that lives infinitely within, around, and beyond us. In this place of calm, in this place of connection, feel your oneness, your union with all life. We share the same inner stillness. We share the same inner silence. Anyone we might oppose, anything we might fear, anyone we may think we have lost, all together as one when we return to stillness together. And from this place, we offer a prayer, each way and yet together as one. Dear Spirit, to the great mystery, to the heart of life, the one that is all, dear God, we thank you for this day, for another day of life, another day to love, to learn, to let go. Bless us with the courage to return to our deepest awareness again and again, that we might have the wisdom to live the fullest expression of ourselves, our gifts, our soul's vibration, and that it may be shared in all we do, in our words, our actions, our choices, even how we spend each penny that we call our own. May we awaken to the powerful change makers that we are through this co-creative dance. May we remember day by day that we are endlessly within Spirit, and that nothing we face, that nothing we've been, and nothing that has been taken from us will ever be outside of Spirit. Dear God, may we live this truth, that wisdom breathes at the heart of all things, love breathes at the heart of all things, hope and possibility and creativity breathe at the heart of all things. And in this way, may we in our own humble way, remember our place in the family of life and offer our own life, our own journey as a means to elevate the good of all. Amen. So, I will continue to accept your feedback about the audio and video, but I want to move on now and read this wonderful passage. It's kind of a poem, it's kind of a prayer, and it's by the author of The Sufi Way, Puran Perez. And it sets the stage for our conversation about taking the higher ground. And what does it mean to take the higher ground in life? So take a breath. Because the future is here, it never arrives. We stop, solemn at the lip of a new millennium, peering from this chaotic, unexpected year into a fog that creeps from horizon to twilight, wondering what lies beyond the year 2020. We crouch, anxious round the campfires, eyes glazed with the blight we have spread on, in, under, and beyond the planet. Fear seeping into the soil of our souls. We stand, looking for the bright dawn, longing for the fulsome embrace, counting on the coming of the kingdom, calling for the glory of light, love, and abiding joy to reign. All the while knowing that it can only be what we are, because the future never arrives. It's already here. So, what does it mean to take the higher ground? We are clearly in a tumultuous time in our personal history, in our collective history. We have political division and upheaval that seems irreconcilable. We have philosophical division around health and ecology, the environment, that seems irreconcilable. We have seemingly more than half of the country calling for the end of systemic racism and sexism and oppression. And then we find seeming other parties that would say that it's all an illusion, it's all a trick to gain power, and that none of these issues are ultimately real. We find ourselves in tension with neighbors and friends and family. We find ourselves struggling with news that enrages us or saddens us or scares us. And the question follows, what does it mean to take the higher ground? Well, at Althea, as you know, we have sort of a special way of looking at things. To say that God is all, that all things exist in spirit, that all things are spirit, is to move our way of living, our attitude, our awareness, our paradigm, you might say, from the conditional, competitive reality through the soulful, searching, spiritual reality and into a deeper place still. What we discover, in fact, is that anything, any concept, any action, any partnership, any program, any phase of life can be divided by these three worlds. The world of the competitive, comparative, conditional. The world of the soulful, selfful. and the world that embraces all and beyond. When we think higher ground, most of us idealize it as a righteous way to be, a good way to be, a healthy way to be, an empowering and positive way to be, but more often than not, what we really mean is that we're just going to focus on what we think is right and ignore those who we think are wrong. We make the high ground the righteous ground, the good ground, and the low ground their ground, the problem ground, the other's ground. But you see, I would assume that every side of every issue thinks that they are taking the high ground. Wouldn't that seem so? Now it's true, there's sort of an implication from some communities that high ground means respectful, compassionate, hopeful, inclusive. Maybe, but more often than not, it means I'm going to let them be wrong and I'm just going to focus on what's right. But if you think that, then you know that there's something in that idea of higher ground that actually perpetuates our division. It's possible that we might see higher ground entirely differently than we've ever thought of it before, and very much the way we think of awakening, spiritual depth, and spiritual maturity. So the story that I want to tell you that really puts some interesting light on this topic is the story of the Buddha's final awakening. Now, many of you know the story of the Buddha, and if you don't, it's worth reading. And whether you read a kind of popular novel-like retelling of the Buddha's story, Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, or you can actually go and look for the real Buddha's story in scripture or Buddhist texts, or you can even find it online or watch The Little Buddha with Keanu Reeves. Remember that old movie? It's a very, very powerful story. And it's a powerful story because there are so many important mythic themes in it, from his birth in royalty to the many, many spiritual practices he explores, and on to this final stage or step in his awakening. At this point, the Buddha has done a lot, okay? He's tried every practice, he's visited every teacher, he's downloaded every course, he's gone to every guru and so on. But something's not quite there yet. The sting of life is still present. The confusion about our endless suffering remains present. And so he sits beneath the magnificent tree not far from a beautiful river where he pledges himself. I will not move from this spot until I awaken. Until all the pieces come together, until I understand what it means to be liberated from suffering. And in this first step, you have to appreciate that his awakening begins with dedication and devotion. The dedication to follow that path of awareness wherever it takes him, and the devotion to offer the gifts to all of life and all creation. Now think of that as a starting point for any conversation in your life, any choice in your life, and even your consideration of what is the higher ground. Are you dedicated, and will you devote the gifts to something higher? And so he sits there beneath the tree and meditates and doesn't eat and doesn't drink. And the great text suggests probably a whole week goes by. And he moves deeper and deeper into this profound, expansive awareness, deeper and deeper through the heart, into the very fabric of the cosmos, beyond the cosmos, into the depths of our unity when all of a sudden his great vibration awakens the wrath of Mara. Mara is it's actually one of the first deities, or arguably the first god to appear in religious scripture, the god of destruction, the god of death, the god of violence and hatred. Now, they didn't really use the word devil back then, and not in Buddhist tradition, but it's been interpreted in that kind of way. This devil-like character sees, feels what the Buddha is up to, the impending awakening, and he must stop it. For if the Buddha awakens as it feels imminent, then Mara will lose his power over the Buddha, maybe over the souls of life as we know it. And so Mara comes direct to the Buddha and charges him, transforming himself into a vast, seemingly endless army with great weapons and fierce soldiers and monsters all coming to attack, to tear apart, to make war with that one peaceful Buddha. But the Buddha is unmoved. Doesn't even really look up. Doesn't even scratch his nose. And Mara is outraged, and poof. In the Buddha's equanimity and compassion, all the horrors of this mighty army are transformed into flower petals that fall at his feet around him. So violence and war doesn't work. So he thinks, maybe we'll go the other direction. Pleasure. How about beauty? How about wealth? What about having everything you've ever wanted? So Mara sends his daughters, his beautiful, sexy, alluring, and all too clever daughters. And the Buddha remains unfazed. Now, remember, Mara is trying everything. And think about your own life. The ego, the external-most layer of the self, is that warring self. And then we realize we have to live beyond it, and we move to the soul, and we talk about soulful living, and then it becomes about the job I want, the relationship I want, and the sex I want, and the health I want, and all the pleasures I want. It's easy to get trapped. And yes, the Buddha sits unfazed. Poof, they're gone. Now Mara is outraged beyond imagination. How can this be? How can this be? He takes no sides. He thinks he's above wealth and pleasure and war and fear. Oh, I'll show him fear and self-loathing. And so Mara summons all the, quote, evil beings of the universe, all the darkness, and comes upon the Buddha and challenges him for the seat of ultimate power. How dare you, he says. How dare you take this throne of power? You think you're going to awaken? You think you can rise above suffering? You are more egotistical, clinging and craving anyone you look down upon. Shame on you that you would take my seat of power as your own? Who is your witness? You are not worthy. And the monsters and beasts and ghouls and goblins taunt him and tease him and shame him. You are not worthy. Where is your witness? Here is my empire of strength. And again, the Buddha, unfazed, merely places his hand on the earth, as if to say, the earth is my witness. And like that, Mara and his endless army of monsters and ghouls and warriors disappear. And it is said that the night passes into stillness, and with the dawn of the next morning, the Buddha experiences his final and most illuminated and complete awakening. So what does this tell us about the higher ground? Well, the thing that this tells us in a most vivid and powerful way is that the higher ground is actually not about picking sides at all. It's not about saying, I'm going to stick to my side and just let yours go. It's not about saying, I may be right, but I don't need to make you wrong, which is just a tricky way of saying you're wrong. Higher ground is about a divine neutrality, a sacred vision, a way of abiding in the heart in which we accept all polarities and let them go. No need to be right. No need to have the outcome we want. No need to change things to be any way at all. Pleasure, war, the promise of wealth, whatever it might be, we let go. We come to stillness where life itself, the earth, time, awareness, are the only entities, the only beings, the only forces that we need to find our ultimate peace. But does the story end there? Is the higher ground really about doing nothing at all? Well, no. Because of course, after this amazing awakening, the Buddha gets up, dusts himself off, probably goes to get something to eat, and spends the rest of his life teaching, humbly of service, teaching the only truth that he knows, and staying committed to the endless process of refinement, of clearing, of learning, of letting go. This is the story of higher ground. That higher ground is about getting off the battlefield. Higher ground is about finding the stillness, the centeredness, the spirit that illumines us and allows life to live through us as it only can within us. So it is not at all an attitude of inaction, but it begins like that. The higher ground, from the perspective of awakening, of enlightenment, of oneness, it starts by returning to a deeper peace. No sides, no preferences, no right or wrong. We find the stillness that can hold it all. And then, not through thought, but feeling and intuition, we discover how life wants to live through us. And yes, that is when and where we may pick up our cause, our work towards change. Yes, it is also true that when we sit rooted in the deep seat of awareness, the deep seat of spirit, what arises is a path that seeks the end of injustice, a path that longs for harmony, a path that seeks a vibrant relationship between humanity and all natural life. Yes, it is all those good things. But it doesn't begin there. It begins with stillness. It begins with a sacred neutrality, a compassion so extreme that it holds no opposites. As the Buddha sat in the challenges of his awakening and simply stayed quiet, stayed in stillness, stayed in his center no matter what came, no matter what came, no matter what came, no matter what challenged him, with fear, with joy, even questioning his very sense of self-worth, digging in to find the shame. But no, in his centeredness, it all dissolves and something new arises, a gift that becomes the medicine that he carries for the world. And the same can be true of you in each and every day of your life, in all that you do, in your decisions, in your presence, in who you are. And so it's a practice. It starts with awareness, it moves to authenticity, and it ends with accountability. To take this lesson of higher ground and make it something practical, something we can do, it's a simple cycle that we must stay conscious of and committed to every day of our lives, every day possible. Return to awareness and empty. Empty out all that you claim as yours and listen. From that place, allow the spirit of life, love, to express itself through your unique intuition, your unique mind, your unique intentions, through the very soul that you are. And then finally, to live in accord, to live in alignment, to live accountably. That what you feel about the oneness of life is reflected in your words, in your ideas, in your attitude, in your way of living and being in this world. And then we return to awareness. Let it go. Feel the resonance of our choices, our company, the people and places that we keep. Feel the alignment. And then move on to a new expression. And it continues as a learning, deepening cycle. Awareness, authenticity, accountability, listening, understanding our unique expression, and then ensuring that one follows the other in all that we do. The last thing I want to say about this, that's an important note to end on, is that very often when we talk about listening as a first step, when we talk about authenticity as the beginning of action, what we're paying attention to is our own soul, our own unique nature, when in fact, the story of the Buddha suggests go beyond that as well. So not only to let go of the conditional world that you, even to let go of your own deep soulful passions, deep soulful preferences. Yes, let that go too. And from that ultimate place of compassionate detachment, you will find what you need to live as. What needs and wants to live through you. As we evolve, we learn that first we think life is happening to us. And then we are awakened to the soul and we realize that no, maybe life is happening for us, that we might learn, that we might grow. But then we go beyond that and we realize that life is happening through us. And this is the place that the Buddha sits. And this is the lesson that the Buddha offers as we question, what does it mean to live from high ground? To take the high road. It's to take the road that is not yours. It is to open your heart and mind to the road of spirit. And that's all, folks. That is a lifelong practice. Awareness, authenticity, accountability. Every day in all we do. And each time we think we fail, we feel we've made a mistake, we let it go. We return to awareness. We learn from it authentically. And then we try again. Devotion and dedication was the beginning of this story. And so it is the end. Now, once again, I have to thank you. I know that a lot of you are watching this later. We get a lot of people watching this after it's recorded, but to the people that are out there live right now, and I did see that there was a little bit more glitchiness today. Apologize for that. We'll have that tuned up better for next week. But thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for keeping the Althea community strong. Thank you for keeping your community, wherever you are and whatever you do, strong through your awareness, your authenticity, and the way you seek to be accountable. When we come together, whether it's watching it later, or maybe more significantly, watching it as one, seeing our numbers, feeling our presence, affirming the importance of what we do, we are building the strength of the soul to be deeply rooted advocates, not from a place of againstness or violence, but simply from a place of peaceful clarity, the sustainable way forward for all. In that spirit, please stay tuned. Stay tuned to our newsletter and our website and Facebook. Check out the incredible Mariposa program on Tuesday nights. It's really something special. You can learn more on our website, Love Beyond Borders, and that's the Mariposa program. Please join us for Pandemic Palooza, because we are so dependent on your donations right now. Of course, your donations today mean the world to us. We still have a big, beautiful building to keep up, insurance and maintenance and all the things that go with it. We have staff, and there are a lot of expenses that go to creating the kind of harbor of hope that Althea is. And so we are grateful for the way you are contributing today online. It makes all the difference. Even if you think it doesn't, it's hugely appreciated. And more so, come on Saturday and let's have a great fundraiser together. In fact, you could have a little quarantine party with social distance and masks or whatever it is, and put it on at 6:30 and let the music play. Enjoy this incredible concert that's been created for you. With that, I give thanks to the Althea team. Special thanks to Susan, always behind the scenes, and I'm sure she's there right now posting links to donations and websites and all that stuff. Thank you, Susan. Daryl, for keeping this place in one piece with Aaron and others. Also for your incredible leadership in the Pandemic Palooza. Sarma, also for your leadership with the Pandemic Palooza, and all the volunteers that have helped. Again, volunteers, donors, listeners, board members, one and all, thank you. Thank you for holding the space for this important consciousness that we feel is spreading throughout the world gratitude, stillness, an appreciation that we have each other. May we have the courage and clarity to return to the depths of awareness. And from this place, may we have the courage, the intention, the devotion, and the dedication to move this love of spirit and spirit of love from the very heart of who we are out into the world and through all we do. Thank you for your blessings, dear God, and may we all stay in gratitude for the blessing that we are. Amen. So thank you one and all. Thank you for being here. We will improve sound and video. And again, thank you for your donations. Thank you for your presence. And we will see you soon. Lots of love. Bye-bye.